Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's section of reads. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. This should be on the YouTube channel James 13 Wicca in case you're seeing it somewhere else. The dice and decks I'm using are listed below. Of course, if you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. And without further ado, let's get into your selection. Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Aquarius? Very interesting. The Two of Swords shows up. In this deck, it's a little different than I'm used to. Because it's got the two swords down instead of crossed. But it can talk about, especially the way this deck depicts it, a block due to lack of commitment or lack of motion forward, maybe on your own part or somebody else's. It's not a block because something's in the way. Could be a block due to non-action. Okay. That might be you for good reason. Whatever we're dealing with. The Strength card comes in the past, which is interesting for an Aquarius read. It can talk about Leo energy, which is your opposite. Sometimes Leos and Aquarians don't really get along all that well. We'll just leave it at that. There could be a lot of action, a lot of motion, but it could be a lot of things that are done that you may not agree with. That could be something that's been here, and it may have been kind of difficult for you to get through, but this might also be why the energy of like holding back and not moving forward might be showing up on your side, because you may not like where things have been or have been going, and you may not be willing to participate in that, at least for the time being. It's a general read, take it with a grain of salt. If this is hitting already, I feel like you're definitely holding your ground and you are not happy about where things have been, and you're not willing to waste time or energy in directions that don't seem to be going, or at least where you want them to go. Okay. The energy that you're currently dealing with, which, if this is hitting, is very strongly flavoring the soup here. I keep seeing Pee Wee Herman, if you're aware of who that was, is. The character used to say this line, I meant to do that. Like, something wonky would happen and he'd be like, oh, I meant to do that. And I keep getting, whatever's going on here in the past, things did not work out the way they were supposed to. Maybe they weren't bad. Maybe they weren't bad, but they didn't work out the way they were supposed to. And it's somebody playing it off in the sense of like, oh, that's how that was supposed to go. And you're like, that is not how that was supposed to go. It worked out fairly okay, but that was not the original plan. And I feel like you might be looking at that like somebody's putting in this BS energy as if things are working out exactly how they should be. And you're like, no, they're working out fairly well, sorta. We're still treading water. But that was not how this was supposed to go. That is not how this was supposed to go. It's still surviving, it's still going, but not the way it was supposed to go. But somebody's selling it as if, yeah, no, this is exactly, I meant to do that. No, you didn't. And that may be why you're pulling back and kind of holding back on the situation. Like, I don't want to be a part of this right now. Is it the worst situation? No. But are you in love with it? No. You got the Page of Cups, kind of like, I'm just going to hold back here and wait for a different opportunity. Or there's more coming in with this because you got prosperity looking in your direction. You do have prosperity looking in your direction. You're stagnant energy. The Death card reversed is stagnant, in my opinion. The Four of Pentacles reversed is letting go of what did not work. You might be making quiet decisions on your own. Oh, that can be a very quiet card too. The Two of Swords, especially in this one, you're not participating in something here, that's for sure. But you're also maybe quietly making other decisions and disconnecting from something. Like the Two of Swords in this makes me feel like somebody's putting down their weapons, like I'm not going to participate in this. But the Queen of Pentacles, is that what we got there? Yes, it is. Making longer term decisions or changing your connection to the situation, kind of like, I'm fed up with this. This isn't working for me. I've put up with it for so long, but like I'm not into this smoke and mirrors game. I meant to do that stuff. No, we're not doing that. I'm not doing that. And you are working in a different direction. This may be why you're not participating in this other direction, because you're working in a different one. Maybe very privately, very quietly. If this reading is hitting, of course. There are people who are coming into your view, but just because other people are coming in and you're going in a different direction doesn't mean you're trusting some of these people either. I feel like you're identifying people for their motives and you're letting it help you move into a different situation, but you're also very keen on like, I know why they're helping me. I know what they're expecting from me. I'm just keeping an eye on it. I'm not thinking this is out of the grace of their good heart. I'm thinking there's a reason they're doing this and there's something they're going to want from me. But you're very aware of it too at the same time. You're moving in a different direction. Is this the Knight of Cups? Yes. The Knight of Cups is trying to bring you forward. The Knight of Cups is trying to entice you. But you're going with the Knight of Cups on your terms. You see it for what it is. And you're letting it work to your advantage. And that seems like a really smart decision in my opinion, the way this reading is going. What are we coming up to next? Which... that's very good for you. So, King of Swords. Don't get caught up in the gender, but this is you making more decisions going forward, but also being in the position of strength in the sense of like, yeah, people helped me get where I am. People helped me move forward, but I got to think of this objectively. I got to be careful to not get too bound into a new situation that I'm not really sure I want to be a part of. They're saying be careful to not, I know this is going to sound weird, not too tied to loyalty. Be careful to not be too tied to loyalty. Consider it, and we don't want to screw over people that helped us move forward. Granted, you don't want to screw people over, but at the same time, you don't want to be subject to their will just because they helped you forward. You don't want to screw them over, but at the same time, you're not looking to be under their control either. That being said, there may be some choices that are best for you that are not best for everybody. Decide what you really want. It may be hard to do this. It is what it is. This is what they're saying, so we're going to go with it. It may seem a little dicey, but they're saying the Ten of Swords is like, you know what? People may expect certain things and want certain things, and you're not looking to screw anybody over, and I get that, but it may be one of those things where, you know what? You got to make the decision that's best for you. You got to change your connection to a situation, and you got to hold true to your laurels. Hold true to self-loyalty. Like sometimes people get self-loyalty a little twisted. That's not selfish. Self-loyalty is like if you have certain standards, you're loyal to your standards and you don't let somebody walk on your standards. You don't let somebody encroach on your boundaries. Self-loyalty is having that loyalty to yourself to hold your boundaries and not letting other people walk all over them. And there's something about having your boundaries being misconstrued, or something about having your self-boundaries, your self-loyalty, to where people are like, you know, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to do this for me. But it's like getting you to do something that you wouldn't normally do, or something that you don't agree with. And you're like, I can't do that. Thank you for helping me move forward, but I can't do this. It's against my laurels or my morals or whatever you want to say to do that, so I can't help you with that. It's being careful with loyalty. Being very careful with that. This reminds me of this adage. I don't know if it's an adage, but like it reminds me of how these scenes play out. and I feel like it happens more with younger people than older people, but I could be wrong, where you back somebody, you back a friend or a coworker, and you know they're wrong, but you're like, we're like this, we're on the same side, so I have to back them even though they're not right. This is one of those moments where it's like, that's not good for self-loyalty. Where are your laurels? Where are your morals? If you're backing somebody just because you're loyal to them, not because they're right, there's a problem there. I really cringe at that. I feel like that's something that causes a lot of problems. Does it mean we have to blow somebody in that we're loyal to in front of a whole group of people? I'm not saying that. But maybe it's one of those things where behind the scenes we're like, hey, you know what you're doing there? I don't think that's right. I can't back you on that. I'm giving you a heads up. I know we're on the same team, and I do want to be loyal to this, but I can't go along with that. I'm morally against you lying the way you're lying or what you're doing there. I can't just, have your back. It reminds me of like, trying to not do this, but I'm going to say this analogy. It's kind of like when you have a friend and you know that friend is not as loyal to their partner as they should be. You shouldn't back them up on that. And in fact, I would say I've actually had friendships end over that. I'm like, you know what? I can't be a part of this. I don't know how to say that, but it's kind of like loyalty has its limits, and like that's not right. And it's kind of like you stepping forward, going, you know what? I can't pretend like that's okay, and I can't back you on that. And it's kind of like coming back, and I know I'm giving a very harsh reality on that, or a very harsh version of that. Like if you have a friend and that friend is cheating on their spouse, like covering for them, I just, that's not good. I'm sorry, but I don't think it is. But it's like you have to feel the way you have to feel about that. And that's, even though that may not be the literal thing that happens here, it feels like it's that type of analogy. It's like if you're not okay with that and you wouldn't want somebody doing that to you, don't back up somebody else who's doing that to other people. That's the kind of the point there. It's something like that. If they're trying to give context to like look at the situation in different versions and different angles, it's kind of like, wait a minute. If I was on the other side of the stick, that would not be okay. So wait a minute, I can't go along with this. It's dealing with the Shadow Queen. It's looking at the shadows. And it's kind of like saying, you know what, maybe I'm not going to blow you in, but I'm not going to participate in that. It could be just to that level. It's up to you what you feel is right. Is that the Moon card? Yes, the Moon card and the Nine of Pentacles. Yes. There's changes going on in this situation. You're evolving out of something that's not working for you. You're evolving into something new. Just because you're evolving into something new doesn't mean you have to abide by other people's rules. When you get there, it's time for you to redirect the situation and maybe help create new rules that are better. It doesn't feel like this is going to be the easiest path, but if you're willing to do that and you're willing to create, or at least if you stand loyal to your own self, to your own morals, to what you feel is right, self-loyalty, if that comes forward very strong for you, you will have a rippling effect around people who are also a part of the situation, because if you do it, other people are going to feel like they can do it, and it is seeming to be a stronger energy, a more positive energy for the whole situation. I'm not saying you're looking to have that role, but that seems to be the role you'll actually end up falling into, and it will have a positive effect for the overall situation. The Moon coming in with the Nine of Pentacles is like, I don't feel like I'm looking for people to stand with me for my self-loyalty, but you do seem to have that effect in giving other people the encouragement to stand with their own self-loyalty. All right, I think we're there. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.